Hi, my name is Marnie, and today I'm going to be talking about how the Cold War began. And the biggest spark that started the Cold War can be tied to what is called the Iron Curtain speech. The Iron Curtain speech was a speech given by, at the time, the former British Prime Minister Winston Churchill. Right before delivering this speech, Winston Churchill was defeated in a re-election as Prime Minister in 1945. He was invited and introduced by President Truman to speak at Westminster College in Missouri. He was asked to talk about international affairs. Keep in mind, this speech was delivered very much post-World War II. The speech was titled Sinews of Peace. However, it ended up alarming many Americans on the United States relationship with Russia. Winston Churchill wanted the opportunity to speak at Westminster because he believed it would be a perfect opportunity to form a relationship with the United States president. This is a president that he has only met one time before. Like I said, the speech was given in a very small town in Missouri. However, almost 8,000 local residents showed up to the speech and 20,000 residents from afar. That was a huge deal. During the speech, Churchill talked about the United States' great relation with Great Britain and popularized the phrase Iron Curtain. The word Iron Curtain, or the term Iron Curtain, is a metaphor used to describe the Soviet Union's imperialist ambition and how they were spreading communism to the states nearby. This speech really did mark the beginning of the Cold War. However, we must believe this was not his true intentions. Winston Churchill did not necessarily want to start a Cold War, but he was really there to pitch his plan of peace. A plan of peace. Winston wanted to successfully dominate the Soviet Union with weapons, with diplomacy, and most importantly, a world alliance. During the speech, he really talked about how the Soviet Union was a great threat to the people. And after delivering the speech, the intensity between the United States and Soviet Union only rised. After delivering the speech, the reactions were very mixed. Many citizens were often were really confused because it was not long ago that the USSR had just helped defeat the Nazis. Therefore, many Americans' eyes, they were seen as an ally. However, this was ultimately destroyed when Churchill painted a dark picture of post-war Europe. In addition, any Americans who were associated with the U.S. military did not necessarily agree with Churchill's message. As Churchill was promoting his country for a relation with the United States, many Americans in the army and military did not believe that this was helpful. They knew that British military was down spiraling, and they did not see how they could benefit from the help. However, Winston Churchill in his speech really believed in the idea that the two countries that spoke English should be working together. Like I said, an idea that not many Americans agreed with. After much controversy of the speech, President Truman was in hot water. Many were upset and concerned why he invited this kind of speech into the world. Truman ultimately stands up for himself and says that he promises that he had no idea what the speech was about, and he never publicly agreed with the statements that were made. However, whether this is true or not, the speech ultimately shifts the American attitude towards Soviet Union. Looking back, some historians say that it was better this way. The Americans had the opportunity to hear what was believed about the Soviet Union. Okay, now that the Iron Curtain speech was delivered, there were a few results. One of the results would be that Winston Churchill, only a few years later, was actually reelected as a prime minister. Like I said earlier, before delivering the speech, he recently lost the election. So although this may not be a direct tie, it was definitely something that Churchill was really proud of, to be prime minister again. While this is all going on, this actually leads us to other occurrences in the beginning of the Cold War. At the same time as Europe looked really tragic due to post-World War II, the superpowers decided it was time to divide Germany. They inevitably divided Germany, and the West Germany belonged to the Soviet Union, and the right Germany belonged to the Western powers. And this, once again, was just another set of division and another set of chaos. And in addition, Truman also was ready to take on the Soviet Union and really gave into that message. And he actually helped Greece and Turkey and supplied them with supplies in order to fight the Soviet communism. In addition, we have a Europe that is totally destroyed, and the Soviet Union wants their damages to be repaired by the countries. However, the U.S. realized how impractical this is. There is no way they can fund the damages when they can't even fix their own country. Their country is in shambles. So the U.S. Secretary of State, which is George Marshall, creates a plan, and this plan will ultimately be called the Marshall Plan. And what he proposed was a European recovery program. And what the recovery program would do, it would really just help put these countries that were absolutely destroyed back on their feet. However, to no surprise, the Soviet Union is not ecstatic about the United States helping the countries. Whether the United States were doing it, we know, just not for the kindness out of their heart, just to help these countries, but they really, these countries were practically back in square one, and they had to decide how would their country go on, and the United States would enjoy it, and really, it would benefit them if these countries that needed to start over, looked a lot like the United States. However, of course, this is something the Soviet Union does not like, and they really saw it as a threat. They saw this as a way of implementing the American and the United States style on the countries. And Stalin believes that communism over capitalism, and he says he would do anything to destroy the Western powers. And I mean, they're obviously going to try to start the American, if the United States is going to help rebuild with the European Recovery Program and the Marshall Plan, they're not going to rebuild capitalist countries. And another thing that the United States added was NATO. And this was when there was U.S. armies in Europe. And they practically overlooked all European affairs. However, once again, this was not something that went over easy. And, of course, the Soviet Union was very upset about this. The United States is really just trying to make sure that, no more countries fall into the communists and into the Soviet Union's way. However, they really couldn't control them all. And communist governments that were loyal to Moscow fell under and became a part of the Soviet communism. And a few examples of those countries would be Poland, Hungary, Bulgaria, and Romania. So now at this time, Stalin is really building what we like to call the Iron Curtain. And we had the Iron Curtain speech. The intensity is high. The two superpowers are at war, and this is really how the Cold War begun. So, thank you guys.